All right, appreciate y'all being here. Always fun during Thanksgiving week to be getting ready for a football game. I think as a kid, I go back to high school and like Thanksgiving, you were hoping you were still playing. Well, we get to play on Thanksgiving night, which is very unique and a lot of fun for our guys. Exciting opportunity against a really good football team. We've got a lot to be grateful for in our program. Our guys have done a lot of community service stuff this week. They got one more event. We'll do a team lunch here at 12:30. And then after that, they got one more community service event this afternoon. They'll participate in. Our whole team will go do something together to help some people in the community. And then, but like I said, a lot to be thankful for. We got 35 guys walking on senior night. That's a little bit scary. It's a lot of people, but really proud of that group. Can't list them off one by one, but like I look at. Rashad Green, who you're going to speak to, Justin Ibieta, who's not actively playing, but he's signaling, all right? Josh Rimitich, Caleb Thomas, Pat Jenkins, Ethan Hudak. There's some guys that have given this place a lot. And there's some newcomers that are going to walk that have been here for 6 months, 9 months, whatever it may be, but a lot of guys have bought into the team idea. So excited for our program to have the opportunity to go play a really freaking good Memphis team. I mean, you watch the tape, they're damn good, and so we got to work it out for us. And then also would like to acknowledge my man Jay Ullman getting an extension. Happy for him. Jay's been a great friend to me in my short time already back. A lot of respect to Jay. Our staffs hit it off. We cut up with each other all the time, and we go to their games. I tell them this spring I'm there to watch them and drink beer and support them, and they're doing the same right now with us. We really enjoy them and happy for Jay and his staff. So with that, open it up.
So I hesitate to bring it up because there's some superstitions involved, but you've been remarkably significant injury-free this year. Part of that is fortune, but how much do you attribute it to the way you guys run the program?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that go into it. Luck doesn't hurt, right? I think Rusty Witt, John Melia, strength staff, Witt staff, they're unbelievable. Like, Witt's as good as I've ever been around. He's a freaking stud. And then John does a great job. Dr. Stewart, folks at TISM, our players, they do a lot of preparation. So many things go into it, and it does take some good fortune. I mean, there's been plenty of bumps and bruises. We've probably missed, like Alex Bauman didn't play really much last week. He only missed one game, but like there's still been the normal bumps and bruises. But we had several spring injuries that were significant long term. Right. Tuggle's been out, Jowry's been out. Those guys haven't been available. Guichon, the freshman tight end. But in the season we've been pretty resilient, pretty strong. I think the way we practice helps in that too. We don't really go more than 2 days really, really hard in a row. So we kind of, I'm into being smart tough, not dumb tough. And I played this game enough to know, like, you have to take care of your body a little bit. So, but it's a testament to so many people that the medical resources here, man, for me, I'm like, wow. And the doctors we have, and I'm just like, holy smokes. These guys got the best medical care they'll ever have in their life right now. Not taking a shot at anything. I'm just saying this is as good as it's ever going to be.
Didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry about that. But you were talking about Memphis and praising them. I think they're the only team, after y'all in terms of points per game. You guys are both at the top with that offense with Seth Hennigan. What kind of sticks out to you on the tape the most about that offense when you watch them?
Really good players across the board. The running back is a freaking dude. They got two backs really that play a lot. They're both good. The quarterback is in his 19th year of college football. All right, their offensive line is really solid. I think at this level you can a lot of times tell the good teams apart by who's got good O-lines. These guys are really good on the O-line. They're well coached. They play hard. Tight ends are good players. The receivers rock. He's from Oxford, Alabama. I remember him growing up watching him, and he's a good player. It's number 0 in the slot is dynamic. They just got really good players. I mean, I feel like we're getting ready to play an SEC team. I mean, I'm serious. Like, you look on the film, and I'm like, all right, this is as good of a talent group as we'll play all year, I think.
When it comes to a game like this with a lot on the line, you as a head coach, your philosophy, do you lean into this is just another game, or do you embrace it when the lights are brightest? Let's go seize an opportunity.
Yeah, I think you have to address. I think both. I mean, I like to control the narrative that's in our team about what this game means, and it does have a lot of meaning. I mean, it's senior night, it's ESPN, it's the only game on TV, and there's a lot of things about it that are unique. It could have implications, obviously, on where the conference championship game gets played. At this point in November, every game's a championship game. They're all playoff games. They're all, you know what I mean? Like I told our team earlier in the week, like every game's a playoff game. Every game's a championship game. Like this game's the most important game of the year. And I'm not trying to be coach speak, but like I do address what the implications could be. I think everybody's got people in their lives that are going to tell them what they think the game is, so I might as well tell them at least what I think it is too. And so I try to do that, but then also let them understand, hey, what helps you win the games, none of the other stuff going on around what could matter. It's, are you prepared? Are you disciplined? Are you detailed? Are you assignment sound? Do you play hard? Are you a good teammate? Do you encourage each other? Like, that's how you win. That's how we won. And so we can't focus on implications of this game so much more, just how do you play a good game. And I think our guys will do that. I think they're focused and they're in a good headspace. I thought we had an average, what I would call a Tuesday practice. I thought we had a much better, what I would call a Wednesday practice yesterday. I thought today was a quality day as well. So I think that's normal in game week. Usually as a coach on Tuesday's practice, you're like, that wasn't clean. Well, it's the first heavy day of the week, and then it gets better as you go.
Coach, your defense is only allowing 3 points a game over their last 3 games. What's really been clicking with that unit?
I think you can't understate. There's like we lost, I think, 7 starters off of last year's defense. So this game's about players, okay? And like coaches, we can screw it up, but the players, it's a players' game. And so it took our group on that side of the ball some time to understand how to play for each other, with each other, learn each other's names, and I just think the cohesion has kind of kicked in as time has gone. We're still the same team, though, that gave up a ton of points to Louisiana Lafayette and Kansas State and other people. So I remind them, like, you're only as good as your last game. And but that group's grown a lot. That group's improved a ton as the years unfolded, and I think you've seen that group kind of play for each other a little bit better. Leaders have stepped up on the side of the ball too. I think Sam Howard and Tyler Grubbs, without question, have been integral in the middle of that defense, kind of kicking it into gear and holding other people accountable to the standard.
Building on the defense, the last couple of games, it's a little more of a team effort. You look at the skill guys on this roster. You look at Temple; they were without Dante Wright. The quarterback was a little affected against Navy. How does the defensive message change this week with the amount of skill and talent on Memphis?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, buddy. I think they have a lot of times you go into a game and it's like, all right, we got to really take this guy off the board. Like, how do we stop him? Where Memphis, I think, is unique. It's like, okay, if you take this guy off the board, they got 4 other guys that are going to be a problem. And so I think their offense is more layered and diverse in who can beat you and how they can beat you. And I think that presents a major challenge. And the quarterback is really efficient. Like I said, I kid around about him being his 19th year of college football, but you can tell he's played a ton of snaps. Like, he don't get confused by a whole lot. Like, he's a really crisp, sharp, just fluid player. I have a ton of respect for the guy. He's a really good football player. So I just think they can beat you so many different ways.
So Dixon Nagu is pre-med. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they call him Doc. The guys, if you ever catch him, they call him Doc out on the practice field.
Have you coached a guy who was pre-med? Have you been around a guy in football who was pre-med? What does that say about his time management, his work ethic, and everything else?
Well, he's a really smart. Have I coached anybody that's that smart? Probably not. But he's a really smart kid. He's a really hard-working kid. He is talented. Like, he's got one of those guys that could see him having a decision to make in a couple of years. You're like, do I want to play pro football or do I want to be a doctor? like, you don't see that very often. Like, he's an unbelievably humble kid. Comes from a great family. Just a kid that's always got a great attitude. Like, he's a fun guy to be around. Special person.
John Stinchcomb had that choice, actually. You
Yeah.
remember him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Saints line.
Yeah. Offensive lineman, yeah.
He used to tell me he was going to go to med school after he's done playing for the Saints, but then
He probably made enough money. He thought, I'll let those doctors be doctors and I'll go enjoy life. I think he's on TV now or something.
I thought that was the Saints.
Yeah.
Anyway, it sounds like you think Memphis is really now the team that was picked to win. Now they're not in the conference championship game. When you look at their body of work, can you were you able to kind of isolate what went wrong for them earlier and how they fixed it?
Yeah, I haven't really tried to target so much what went wrong for them. I mean, they've lost a whopping 2 games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one of them they scored 40-something points in, right? So, and the other one they scored a bunch of points too. They just had some critical things go the other way on them, like turnovers and some things that kind of affected the game. So, I don't know, like the record, they hadn't had a lot go wrong. Like they're pretty, like I've watched them and I'm like, they're really good. They could easily be representing in the conference championship game as well. I just see the problems that they present. I don't see a whole lot of deficiencies. I wish I did. I'd feel a lot better. I'm usually able to watch the tape and go, all right, we can attack this or exploit that. I'm like, what do we exploit here? Like they're really good.
Based on that, that's the on-field stuff. But the off-field stuff, they're motivated. The guys with the bullhorn, their fan bases beat them up saying they are where you are.
Yeah.
They want it. So it's like the only thing they've got left is to come in and spoil your party. How have you addressed that with the team? And has the team realized that they're extra motivated?
Yeah, they understand that we're going to get everybody's best shot. You know what I mean? Like, we get to determine whether they get ours or not. Like, that's our guys. We have to make that decision. And so they're going to be ready to play. They're a good team. They got good players. They're well coached. They've played a lot of really good football this year. And I'm sure they're going to give us everything they got on Thursday night. We have to be completely prepared in all ways or we will get exposed because they have the ability to expose anybody they play.
Seems like they're giving you bulletin board material, but your guys, Tulane has not returned any bulletin board.
Yeah, if any of our guys give bulletin board material, I'm going to put them into a bulletin board, right? So, like, they ain't got to worry about, like, that ain't happening around here. Like, these dudes, they realize that we're real close from being exposed in a lot of games, too. Like, if anybody around here wants to talk about a bulletin board, I'll throw a bulletin board. Like, I ain't doing it. I got a lot of respect for everybody we play. These guys are the best talent team in our league. They've got the best talent accumulation of anybody in our league. I love our team. We got a lot of good players too, but they look like a friggin' SEC team.
You guys got a little bit of kind of help this weekend. I know obviously you don't focus on too much other stuff, but you got a lot of help this weekend in terms of teams ranked above you losing with BYU, Colorado. Yeah. So teams in the mix to win the Big 12 title. Obviously that champion is obviously going to have a little bit less of an impressive quote-unquote resume once the CFP comes around. Was that anything that you paid attention to kind of this bye week or this weekend? Were you kind of keeping tabs on how teams ahead of you were doing at all?
Yes. Yeah, I watched all those games and I cheered for whoever could help us elevate. I don't understand all the formulas and scenarios, but like, yeah, if you tell me like, hey, this team losing helps Tulane, then I pull for them to lose. No, I got friends at all these different schools, so I don't like. But no, I'm so worried on what we can control. But yeah, when you're off on a Saturday and you're not playing, and you're like, okay, what things help us? Like, I'm okay with those things happening. But I don't. After they happen, I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. It's like I go back to the normal flow of the week.
So Jesus Machado's been showing up with his helmet on at practice this week. Is there any scenario where he would play in a bowl game or something like that? Or is that
he could. I don't. Too early to call. Like I don't know what the dates look like. We're just trying to get him back into the flow of things, and I'm excited about having him back. He's been a really productive player here in the past, and he's a good teammate. And had the unfortunate injury at the bowl game last year. We'll see. I'm not going to commit to yes there. We're just trying to get him moving around, doing some individual things that can help him gain some confidence. He did 7-on-7 some this week. He's had a little bit of contact, but I'm not even thinking about when do we throw him in there. I'm just thinking about how we can help him continue to develop and get his confidence back in what he's doing.
Coach, when you came to Tulane, obviously you knew that Mekhi Hughes would be a big part of your offense. Has he been even better than you may be expecting him to be?
You know, so Mekhi's from Birmingham and I'm from Alabama, so I've known about Mekhi. I knew he was a really good player. When I took the job at Troy, he was committed here. I was trying to see if I could even come to Troy right when I took the job. I was a day late and $1 short. I knew he was a good player. I didn't know how good. I don't think I understood how consistent he is. You know, I had the good fortune of being here to watch bowl prep and watch the bowl game and see like this dude brings it. He runs behind his pads but I think the most impressive thing about Mekhi to me is just like I said, his consistency, his dependability. Man, he is so steady. He's just one of the guys I never have to think. I wonder how he's going to be today. He's just himself every day, you know. And when you first meet him, if you try to get him to say more than 4 or 5 words, good luck. But then as you get to know him, he's got a great personality. He tried to play a joke on me the other day in the office, and I'm like, it's not funny. He thought it was. It wasn't something I thought was funny at the time. I'm like, no, we're not allowed to laugh about that. But he's got a great sense of humor. He's a good guy. He's a great teammate. He's a really good football player. He's a physical running back who plays the game so consistent.
And in the same token, Arnold Barnes being able to kind of step in
Yeah.
that 1-2 punch.
You know, due to he's matured. He flashed in the spring. He needed to embrace that consistency. I think Mekhi's been good for Arnold. I think because, Duda has a real skill set. I keep calling him Duda because that's what we call him in the building. But he has a real skill set. He's a very talented back. Great balance, good vision lines, good body control. He's a solid built kid. He's changed his body comp a little bit in the offseason. He still can improve that. I think he knows that. But he's got a complementary running style to Mekhi. But I think Mekhi's had a good influence on Arnold because he's seen the consistency piece. And I think that's where he's continued to grow this season. He's got a long way to go. I still think he's got a lot left out there for him to improve upon and embrace. But seeing that kind of unfold through the year is neat to see. And I think he's got a bright future.
Do you have any further impressions about what kind of environment to expect on the unusual Thanksgiving night game? I know Memphis.
Yeah, probably won't be as many students, right? So I'll address that with our guys at some point, just so they understand, hey, you're not going to look down there and it be what it usually is. That's probably, we need as many. I said this last week. We need as many people to show up to this game to support this team. If you live in New Orleans, I don't know what the NFL games are there. I haven't even looked. There's one college game going on in all of America. All right? It's here in New Orleans for a team that's got great seniors. 35 of them that have given a lot to this place, a lot to this community. They're giving back to the community today. So I would love nothing more for, I don't care who you're a fan of. I don't care what you wear to the game. Just show up and watch these guys because they deserve as many people to watch them perform as we can have. And I know, like I said, students won't be there, but I've got the utmost respect for these young men, and I want them to play in front of a great crowd, and they deserve it. Might be the last time we play here at home with this much. So Pat Jenkins, those names, Ra and Pat Jenkins, and some of these guys, might be the last chance you ever get to see them play here. I'd like to play one more here, but we don't know that yet. Good?
Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate you.